All right, let's talk about using oil pastels. I have this nice pack full of lots of different colors, and they are super soft, and having lots of different color choices really helps with oil pastels because you want to be following the rule of threes. So at least 3 colors per section. So 3 different browns, 3 different blues in my sky and my ground, which we'll get to later. So first I'm going to pick out some good potato colors, at least 3, plus white and a paper towel, which is good for cleaning off your oil pastel, and those are both really good tools for blending the colors together at the end. So I'm always going to start with my lightest colors first, and you can put down some white first so that your other colors have something to grab onto and blend with. So I really like this technique of putting down white first, and I'm just kind of blocking in the color, making nice little swirls. I'm going to go to my next color, which is this light yellow, golden yellow type of color, and again I'm just blocking in some of my colors. Maybe I do some side to side motions that kind of look like, you know, the texture of the potato, but it's whatever you want. I'm going to continue filling in, so I'm trying to fill in any white space. Let's see if I can do this with my left hand so you can see better. But any of those little white spaces that you have, you just want to block in color and really build as much color as possible into every little space. It doesn't need to be perfect. We're just kind of doing this quickly and getting lots and lots of color in there as quick as we can before we move on to blending and see how it turns out. So I've done 1, 2, 3 different colors. Now I'm on my 4th one, and the white is in the very back. Now these pastels that I'm using right now are super soft. You can see right here on the box, extra soft, and they're water soluble. So if I wanted to, that means I can use them like watercolors. And extra soft means I don't need to push very hard at all to get the colors on my paper. So I'm being really gentle so that I don't break the oil pastel. You can even see how easily it goes onto my finger, kind of like makeup. Super soft, super easy to use. Now I'm going to take my paper towel, a clean one, clean side, and I'm going to wrap it around my finger like that so that I can blend these colors together. And I'm sticking with that circular motion like I was doing before. And you can see how nice all those colors blending together looks. And don't worry about the messy edges, especially on the bottom. We are going to go over that with dark brown later. It will cover it up, no sweat. Also, art can be messy. Just let it be messy, that's fine. So moving a lot faster here, the video is sped up. I'm adding more of an edge, kind of darker at the bottom and white on top to show some shadows and highlights, even though it's underground, because why not? And either blend these in, but also feel free to keep some lines at the bottom. You don't have to blend every single thing in. That's just a really good way to pack in the color and spread it out so we get a nice even coating. White is nice for blending, but it also will make things lighter, so be aware of that. Now that I've got some nice dimension in my potatoes, let's go on to the stem. So I'm going to take 3 greens. Remember, try to use at least 3 different colors if you have them. If not, mixing in that white will really help with that. So again, putting down my white first. Now I'm adding the light green. Try to find an edge, a pointier edge for smaller spaces. Just look at, what you've got going on with the oil pastel and try to find a point or an edge you can use to get into those smaller spaces. I'm adding some dark green at the bottom And I'm going to keep a lot of light green and then add some white at the top to, again, show shadows and highlights in the stem and the leaves. So I would keep working into this until it looks more like these. And another nifty trick you can do is take a black colored pencil and add back in some of those details. So I haven't done this on my leek yet. I have a carrot, and it was an onion, but I turned it into garlic by keeping it small and kind of making those chunky spots pop out. So I can bring out some of that if I wanted to. So you are going to need to clean off the tip of the colored pencil because it is scraping up some of that oil pastel as you work, which is okay because that's how we get the black to go in there. I'm cleaning up the edges of my leaves and adding some more shadows where I want things to be darker, nice clean edges and outlines, and adding more detail. You can tap your paper off when you get a buildup of crumbs onto the table or directly into the trash can. We do not want to smear and swipe across our paper because all of that color will smear into our drawing. So you can scoop it into your hand off the table or just go directly into the trash can and tap it over the trash and continue working. So perseverance is very important with this. Keep going, keep blocking in those colors, and you will do amazing. But of course, if you do make a mistake, it is possible to scrape off some of the oil pastel with a popsicle stick, and then it will give you more space to scrub over that area with a different color to try and change it. Work carefully though, always using light colors. As you can see, I'm starting with white again and putting it down so that my other colors have something to mix with on top. Adding white first is a really good way to have like a base for blending, but since it's on the bottom, it doesn't really make the colors too much lighter. When you scrub it in on top, it's definitely going to make your colors lighter. So make sure you use those tools to your advantage. And now I'm blocking in my 3 different browns for the soil. I'm carefully going around everything I did before, but still trying to block in and push in as much of that pigment and color as I can. Another reminder, these oil pastels, if you have the same brand as me, are very, very soft. Like they literally say right on the box, extra soft, and they're also water soluble, which is cool because you can take a wet paintbrush with these and blend them in, and they kind of turn into watercolor. We didn't do that. We're not doing that for this project, but it is possible, so FYI. Here you can see I'm blending with my paper towel, and it's scrunched up and kind of thick, but it is possible, you'll see here in a minute, where I start to twist the end of the paper towel to make it a skinnier, almost pencil-like tip, and that's going to help me reach those smaller spaces in between my roots and in other places on my paper. So I'm kind of getting the big areas first. Now off screen you can kind of see I'm twisting, and there's my nice pointy little tip getting into the teeny tiny spaces. So some of my roots kind of got washed away as I was blending, so I'm taking that same color I originally used and putting them back in on top. That's going to help my picture look much neater. And then we'll start the sky. So again, 3 different blues. And this time I am needing to lay my hand on top of some veggies that are already colored in, but I don't want to smear them as I'm moving my palm around to color the sky. So I took a half sheet of paper and put it underneath where my hand is resting. That way it's protecting the paper as I work on another area. Really helpful trick to keep your paper nice and neat. Carefully going into each space in between the leaves, taking my time while also scrubbing lots of color in. And I'll finish it off with white because I do want some of the sky to be lighter. So I'm going to just use this white to blend all of my blue together, avoiding my green leaves so I'm not mixing those together since they're separate. You could clean your white off here, but I'm kind of just using it to blend, so I'm going to keep the blue on there so I'm not getting a ton of white being put down. But if I want that white to show up and make things lighter, I would keep cleaning off my tip in between the coloring so that more of that white is getting on my paper.